Hey, it's Kevin Toffel with GigaOhm. Today I want to show you the HTC Flyer. A review unit just arrived yesterday on my doorstep late in the afternoon for this 7-inch tablet. And it's available at Best Buy already, so you may have seen it there. And if you don't live in a country where the Flyer is available yet, at least this gives you an idea of what to expect when it shows up in your neck of the woods. So we'll take it out of the box first. I've spent a little bit of time setting it up and playing with it. And here it is. Got it upside down. There we go. You'll see it's got the new Sense 2.1 for tablets on here. So even though this is an Android lock screen, I can just say drag the internet icon and it'll pop open the internet. So pretty nifty there. We'll take a closer look at this in detail. I'll zoom in on this and we'll take a walk around. But for now, suffice it to say, it's pretty lightweight. I don't have my Samsung Galaxy Tab here. My son has stolen it for a couple of days. He's really enamored by the 7-inch size of these devices. And I'm getting a lot of questions, will this replace my Tab? Right off the bat, there's a huge difference in that the Galaxy Tab that I have, it's tied to a carrier and has 3G integrated into it. The HTC Flyer that's being sold for $499 is a Wi-Fi only device right now. That could be a sticking point for some, partially because you lose a little bit of mobility because you can't use it really anywhere and be connected to the web. The other thing is $499 without any 3G radio could limit sales on this, but you know, to each his or her own. So let me see, I can show you real quick at least what it looks like compared to the 7-inch screen of the BlackBerry. And one of the reasons I like these devices, I'm going to do something I don't often do. I'm going to shake my moneymaker here and put this in the back pocket because I want to see if, oh, and it does. Let me get my behind up there on camera. It fits in the back pocket just like so. And I like that already, and I'll tell you why. The Tab does the same, but guess what? The Playbook, it sure doesn't. It's real close. Awful close, but doesn't work for me in that regard. So let's see what else we have in the box here. There's actually not too much in here. We have the power cord, which HTC is known for using a slightly different USB interface on some of their devices, and then this one is actually even different again. It's hard to see here. We'll get a close-up a little bit later, but it's got a notch cut into it, and I'm not sure what that's all about. I don't know if it's proprietary. I know it's USB because also they have a USB cable in here with standard USB, and then again that funky USB connector on the other end. So not a fan of proprietary bits like that, but you know what, the Galaxy Tab has a 30-pin connector that's unique to it as well, so it just means you have to carry these cables around. So we've just got documentation. Really, that's about it in the box. In addition to the box, I did receive, but didn't open yet, the other claim to fame for the Flyer, and that is this pen. You can see I haven't even taken it out yet, but this pen will allow you to ink right on the surface of the device. There's a quadruple A battery. I've never seen one of those before with the pen, and that'll be interesting. The pen works because there's two digitizers here. There's the touchscreen, capacitive touchscreen, but also there's a digitizer from N-Trig, so that way this pen will work. And theoretically, I'll be able to rest my palm on here and use the pen to take notes in certain applications. So I'm going to be trying that out. Haven't gotten around to it just yet. So why don't we take a closer look at the Flyer? Let me just get me off the screen and show you the Flyer up close and take a look and see what it's all about. Okay, let's take a quick walk around the hardware. Obviously, we've got the screen here. It's a 7-inch display. Viewing angles look pretty good. It may be hard to see because of the glare that I have here in my home office, but viewing angles look pretty solid. I'm going to turn it off for a second. It is a 1024 by 600 touchscreen, and there's nothing on the top here. On the right-hand side, or if I hold it this way, we've got the front-facing camera, which is a 1.3 megapixel camera. And that's used for video chat. And then you can see the capacitive buttons, and I do like this. You've got a home, menu, and back button here, but if I go into portrait mode, notice how, I lost it, but notice how those buttons light up down here. The buttons that were here are gone. Essentially, they don't exist anymore. So here I can do whatever I want and use these buttons, which is pretty nifty, and then switch it and do the same here. So I do like that design. That's very clever. Nothing else on the front of the device. The device itself is kind of rounded. It's thinner on the sides, much like the first iPad. It's bulgy in the middle, but it's still relatively thin and nice to hold in one hand. Left-hand side, there's nothing there. On the bottom, we have that port I was telling you about, and maybe, just maybe, you can see how it's slightly different than a standard USB port. I should say standard micro USB port. On the right-hand side, not much there. We've got a microphone as well as up and down volume. And then on the top, we've got the power/wake as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack. Back side, we've got the 5-megapixel camera here, no flash. And then you have 2 stereo speakers that are actually better suited for landscape as opposed to portrait. And then just this little rubber or plastic covering here. The device feels well made. This piece here, actually, if I push it in the center, should, there we go, pop off. And that allows you access to your micro SD slot right here. You can see the camera sensor as well. Had a devil of a time getting this back on the other day, but let me see if I can do this now. There we go. That's the trick. Push it in the center. Alright, so that is a quick tour of the hardware. As I mentioned earlier, the new Sense allows you to go to certain items right up off the lock screen. Like if I want to open the camera from the lock screen, I can just drag it like so. Obviously it's showing nothing because I have this on the desk. Let's go back to the home. I do like the new Sense 2.1 for tablets. Anybody familiar with HTC Sense will recognize the weather and clock and so on. And then you have 7 home screens, and it gets to be a very 3D-like view. These, I'll see, now I just spun it, not to make you dizzy, but to show you the 3D. I can see, and I don't know if you can see them in the background, some of the screens behind as if it was 3D. And obviously this works in landscape mode as well. So you can go back and forth from the different screens or get dizzy again, up to you. One thing I'm already not too much of a fan of, and maybe I'm spoiled by my Galaxy Tab, although Sense makes things easier to use, when I go to add, say, a shortcut, there are far fewer shortcuts spots that I can add them to. Like this screen is actually full up. I've got 8 shortcuts and the widget here. So if I wanted to add another application, there's no space on this screen, it says. I can't do it because see how big the spaces are? So you can fit far fewer apps and shortcuts on the screen. So I'm not too keen on that. But here you can see all the screens. There are actually 8. I said 7. I apologize. There are 8. I miscounted there. So we have that. Let's go to the applications screen again. I'm used to, again, perhaps it's just me and Android, I'm used to being able to just scroll through these and leaving it as I see fit. Unfortunately for me, HTC is grouping these in screens. So if I want to go up one row, I can, but if I let go, it will automatically go to the next screen. So you can't dynamically shift from one row to the next. You can go see a screen of apps, another screen of apps, and another screen of apps. Personal preference, I'm just not crazy about that right now. Maybe I'll get used to it. I will say that HTC has really prettied up Android. Everything is nice and clean. It looks really solid. Again, there's the pen settings. I haven't used the pen yet, but I will take a look at that. Browsing, it's kind of interesting. If I go to Google, I noticed something very interesting. See how the page is offset? What happens is, for some reason, the web browser shows just the left side of a page. And I find that kind of strange. It's putting off a little bit, but let's see if we can go here and I can give you a better idea. Even just there showing the results on a Google search, I'm not seeing all the results. They're not being brought into the full screen. I'd have to scroll to see them, and I'm not sure why that is. Maybe there's a setting in there. I'd have to take a look. But here's our site, and you can see it's only showing the left-hand side of the site, not the right-hand side. Again, maybe it's a setting. I'll have to find out. and take a better look at that. But now, granted, this is Wi-Fi, so you don't have to worry about any 3G signals, 4G signals, etc. You got the same notifications in Android, although you can see here, HTC has prettied that up. They have notification on the left and quick settings on the right. Here's a bunch of things, notifications, and my most recently used apps, and quick settings. I can go and take a look at the rotation, brightness, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. So, all in all, I mean, so far, I would say that Sense has definitely cleaned up the Android experience, but it just seems like in many cases, like here, I'm not using the friend stream just yet, but it just takes up the whole screen, and I'm not sure that bigger is better. So I'm going to be curious to see how this is going to work out. So that's it for now. I'll have a full review of the HTC Flyer coming soon. Thanks for watching.